to Quest Friends. I am Kyle, your GM, and today I am joined for a very special episode by the cast of the Amber Clave. So before I explain what we're doing, I'm going to first explain who we are. And before we continue, this episode we're going under the assumption that you have either listened to Quest Friends or the Amber Clave. If you're not used to our show or used to like Numenera, the podcast in general, probably isn't a great place to start. I would recommend either waiting a few weeks for Crime and Courtship Part 1 or jumping back to Ellie's Memory Part 1, which will be a few episodes before this. And then come here. Still come back here. We're just not going to explain how things work and it might get a bit confusing. So again, my name is Kyle. I am he, him. I am the GM, the Game Master of Quest Friends, and we're joined by the players of another Numenera podcast, the Amber Clave. So if everyone could introduce themselves, I'm not gonna. You can pick, or I will start selecting on you like a teacher at class.
All right, I can go first. Hello, this is Acer, and I play Cortian Lambro. Wait, hang on. I always have trouble with this. Impulsive, stealthy glint who devotes everything to the cause. My character and I both use he, him pronouns, and he is a person who decided that slavery was not for him, and has, in the course of rectifying that unfortunate situation, caused himself to be the subject of a very large bounty from very many slave-holding organizations.
All right, let me just add 50 new enemies with that new backstory in mind.
You know, that's never come up in our game, or has it? I don't think it has.
It actually hasn't, although I did say that my room in at the Clade is decorated with wanted posters of myself.
I do remember that.
I remember that.
We haven't seen anyone seeking a bounty.
I'm very happy whenever I see the bounty has gone up. I really irritated someone last week.
All right, cool. So that's Cortian. Who are our other two companions for today?
Hi. I guess I'll go next. Hi. I'm Shauna. I play Jessamy Gray, who is a resourceful, ultra-terrestrial seeker who hunts with great skill, although I do commonly say that she does not hunt with a lot of skill. But that might be my own personal problem. Jessamy and I both use she, her pronouns. Jessamy has the stereotypical fun adventurer look. Half of her head is shaved, the other half is braids, of course. A lot of her things are purple. Once again, a lot of overflow of Shauna into Jessamy. Jessamy doesn't have great luck. She actually is bad at noticing what's going on around her. And this may be because she is an ultra-terrestrial. She's actually not originally from this plane, but she got dragged back to this plane when she was part of some adventure with the other characters. So they ended up dragging her to where they are now.
So within our alternate universe, you're from an alternate universe in our alternate universe.
Yeah! How deep does it go?
All right. I'm Landon, and I play Mako, who is a perceptive mutant nano who wears a sheen of ice. And both my character and I use he, him pronouns. As far as looks, Mako's, he's basically kind of a shark man. Kind of grayish in color, kind of have the, if I remember right from biology, the cryptic coloration of his back part is more of a darker silver, whereas his underside's more of a whitish in color. So if you were swimming in water, if you're looking up from the depths, he would blend in with the light and you wouldn't really see him. And if you were looking down below on him, if you're above him in the water column, you wouldn't really notice him swimming around. And he has silverish color eyes. He's hairless. That's pretty much Mako.
Yeah. And then, so these are us. This is our characters. So, as I said, the Amber Clave is a podcast that stars these three adventurers and their GM. That's not me. As they go off on a series of adventures all across the Ninth World. And we are not playing those characters today, but we are. But we aren't. Essentially, what we are doing is we are doing a what-if scenario. We are taking those characters from the Amber Clave and we're plugging them into our Quest Friends universe. And similarly, in the Amber Clave, we're taking the Quest Friends characters and we're plugging them in the Amber Clave universe. We're just going to see what happens and what gets burned to the ground, because that tends to be how these things end. So we're just going to get straight into the adventure. I will give us an exposition dump, starting now. Mako. The loose dust of Charmande's hillside scratches around your ankles as you stare out on a city that casts such a large shadow it covers itself. In front of you lies the Forlorn District, one of the 5 distinct locations in this city that loves its inane categorizations. The other 4 districts are built into the open-air tunnels of a hill split in 2. It looks a lot like an anthill, with a very, very big anthill, with the city citizens scurrying from one collection of pathways to the next. You are in the Crocus District, a flower-like patch of pathways that hosts Charmande's food. But your mind is miles away, off in the land we call the Exposition World. So, here's the deal. You are all members of the Amber Clave. The Amber Clave is an organization underneath the Amber Pope, really like Amber, that seeks to defend the Ninth World from extraterrestrial and ultra-terrestrial threats. Essentially, weird stuff. It's been 100 years since the Amber Pope and the Order of Truth dissolved. They used to be basically the Science Catholic Church with large control over everything. It's been 100 years since that really isn't the case anymore, and the Amber Clave is a lot scrappier than it used to be. It's a lot smaller. It used to have very distinct organizations. At this point, it's like 12 of you in a moderately sized house, and you're all split into different knots or squads. So the 3 of you, Mako, Korshin, and Jessamine, are all part of your own knot. Now, as I said, things are pretty scrappy right now. The nicest thing you all own is the mesh, and the mesh is an earplug with a net-like covering that covers the whole side of your ear. Supposedly, back in the past when everything was good and they had a relay, this was used for mental communication. It has not been that way for decades. So far as we know, the mesh is functionally worthless, but I mean, it looks nice. It's the nicest thing you got. It's like wearing a nice suit when it's the only thing you got. You just gotta look nice when you're off doing your adventuring. And because you're kind of in a scrappy, not a great situation, you've been taking jobs that aren't necessarily the ideal pinnacle of virtue and truth that you always wanted. For example, you 3 have been hired by the Numenera and robotics megacorp Jetco. Just imagine Walmart and Amazon and the Mafia all rolled into one. That's Jetco.
I think that third one was redundant. I think, give them a generation, they'll put the Mafia out of business.
I mean, yes. So, Jetco claims that one of its employees was a former member of an organization called the Saracenians. The Saracenians is basically a group that worships plants. Carnivorous plants, flower, photosynthesis plants, they love plants. And this former member of the Saracenians, who now works at Jetco, has identified a rogue cell operating in Charmande. Jetco has recently done some renovations to one of the districts. They're currently working in there, and they don't want the Saracenians getting in their way. And it's particularly startling because the Saracenians have what is described as a super weapon, a very dangerous project called the Ploctopus. So your job is to go in, find this Ploctopus, and neutralize it. And as you're thinking about this, as your mind is deep in thought, I want you to roll speed or int defense.
Oh, jeez. Right.
Starts
But I
early.
have questions. That's a D8. I rolled the wrong dice. This is a good start.
Nat 20.
I know.
Nat 20?
Yeah.
Nat 20.
Mako, your mind whips out of this. It just flashes out with the rest of us of this like exposition flashback. And you turn around and you see this piece of newspaper hurtling in the air towards your face. And you have the moment to react any way you want. You have a 20. It's like moving in slow motion towards your face.
In that instance, if it's basically a newspaper coming at me, I think I'll basically just going to try to reach out and catch it before it like smacks me in the head.
You catch this newspaper and it's in your hands. It looks really nice. It's like the Paperboy where it's like rolled up really nice. It's immaculate. It looks brand new. And it is part of the newspaper, which is called the Daily Domino. It's the daily newspaper of Charmande, and it comes from the district that Jetco's actually working in. It comes from the Radiance district, which is basically a giant Rube Goldberg machine that creates and distributes this newspaper across the city.
Once I have the paper, I'll probably try to unfurl it and just see what the headlines say or anything like that.
Yes. Mako in jail. The nefarious traitor has been caught and imprisoned.
Well, that serves a headline, and I'll show it to the others.
Wait, Mako, aren't you supposed to be somewhere?
I guess so, but apparently I'm here.
Are there two of you?
Last I checked, there's just me.
There hasn't been any opportunity for someone to have cloned you?
Not that I can think of.
You don't have a twin named Mako?
I don't think I have a twin. I don't remember having brothers before I lost my family.
Oh, I'm sorry. We shouldn't have brought that up.
It's in the past.
So after thinking more about your families and about the potential for someone having cloned you, you turn around and you find yourself looking at the Crocus District. And by looking at, I mean smelling, because it is pungent. The Crocus District, again, is the open-air food market of Charmande. But because Charmande's rules are filled with such bureaucracy and such needless convoluted steps as put down by Queen Armalu, it typically takes food long enough to get approved that by the time it's approved for sale, it is very, very rough. So you have all these open air stands trying to sell their food as best they can while also trying to hide their food at the same moment.
Okay, well, the Saracenians, what do they eat? Do they only eat... I'm assuming they don't eat plants, so they have to be carnivores, right?
Give me a roll to see what you know about the Saracenians.
Okay. I cannot believe this. I rolled another 20. You know how out of my character this is.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you the answer to that and the answer to two other questions. The Saracenians, some do eat meat, because the Saracenians really like carnivorous plants. So the Saracenians will eat and they will distribute meat. They will eat things that come from plants, but a lot of them don't need to eat at all.
Okay. And you said I get to ask 2 more questions?
You can also hold on to these. Okay,
I will ask one question now, and then I will save the other one for later. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so my question right now, as we're approaching this foul-smelling area, is there a secret underground fresh meat market?
As you're thinking about that, I wonder if there's an underground market. You see a guy walking past you just with a big turkey leg, and it looks good, it smells good, and he's just munching on this. It's actually kind of glimmering, it's shimmering in the sunlight. He kind of looks like he's not really thinking that much. He's just kind of walking without, he's just so absorbed in this food. This is probably the first piece of fresh food he's had in years.
Wow, that's pretty brazen, just walking down the street with a fresh turkey leg, too.
Yeah, so he's just walking.
Okay.
And he keeps walking, and now he's walking away.
All right.
You could talk to him or you can do something.
Hey, excuse me. I just realized this is my cue. Excuse me, sir.
Oh.
Hi. I was wondering if you could, I'm new here. I was just wondering if you could tell me where you got that.
What?
That turkey leg. It looks so good.
What's the turkey?
Okay, the thing that's in your hand that you're chewing on, where did you get it?
And he just starts walking again after a pause. He looks at you and seems to have no memory of this conversation as he takes another bite, and then he keeps walking.
That seems like bad news. Does he drop a receipt as he's leaving?
Do you want that to be your third thing?
Yes, I do.
Okay, he drops a receipt.
Receipts are still a thing.
It is time for a GM intrusion. So who do you want to give your other points to?
I will give it to Landon, since he's in jail.
So you go down and you reach this receipt and you pick it up. And as you go up, you find yourself facing this man with the world's largest frown that's mirroring his frowning mustache and large sideburns. He's wearing a bright green, a very ugly bright green like shirt, and then he's wearing a vest that has 2 capsules that kind of look like pills on his shoulders. And he says, "Should have known they would have brought criminals here." And you look down and you see that the receipt is for the Anine stand in the Seski district, which is the black market, the officially sanctioned black market of Charmonde.
I'm sorry. What did you mean? I'm not a criminal. I'm just trying to keep the streets clean.
Of course, keep them clean of all money, of all civility, of all pieces of normality and peace. Of course you would have sent me on a mission like this.
Well, okay. Well, there's a lot to unpack there, sir. Sir? First of all, civility. You know what? We'll come back to that. Mission. What mission are you on?
He doesn't respond, and he just kind of looks over at the web on the side of your ear, and he says, "So they're making the Amber Clave still wear that?"
We choose to wear this. Thank you very much.
Yes, I understand. That's what I'm told to say as well. Hello, my name is Don. I am your officially sanctioned Gendarme soldier, here to help you find the Ploctopus. It is my pleasure to work with you today.
Oh, Don.
The Amber Clave is a worthwhile organization, and you really should be more enthusiastic about an opportunity to collaborate in such a way, and I'm going to impart Ideal.
Yes!
All right, tell me how Impart Ideal works.
So basically what I can do is I can just talk to someone and create an ideal like this political party is better than the others, or children should be seen, not heard. And they will believe that until someone they trust reminds them of what they actually think.
Okay, cool. So then he will never... Don doesn't trust anyone. Okay, yeah, give me... do you normally have to roll to impart that ideal?
I'm going to put effort into it because it seems like a good idea. I want good cooperation from our local gendarmerie, and I rolled a 15 plus I'm trained in deception related abilities.
Oh, so you're saying it's a lie to say that the Amber Clave is worth working with?
Yes, we're obviously on the down and out. And then I got, and with effort, it's a level 7 success.
Before he responds, let me know, what do you do that really convinces Don? Because Don is not easy to convince.
I tell him about our excellent theoretical retirement plan, which is in the old days, if you were to die and you had a mesh implant, they would have downloaded your consciousness back into another body and sent you out again. So you would be free to heroically confront the threats to humanity, ultra-terrestrial, extraterrestrial, what have you, because you would have the opportunity to do it again. And eventually, maybe, like retire. That's obviously not true anymore. That's where the lie part comes in.
He is just gonna look at you, and you're just gonna sometimes when you just hear memories of battles in the background, you just hear memories of mundane customers asking him, "Oh, how do you do this? Oh, I want a refund," just asking for terrible, terrible things. He just says, "Yep, that sounds like how most organizations work. I understand why the Queen wanted to work with you. Anyways, we're here about a Ploctopus."
Yep. What have you got?
Well, from what I understood, you were the organization. You just told me that your organization was amazing. I thought you would be the ones with the information.
Ah, all right. Well, what are you working off of right now? We wouldn't want to be at cross purposes.
Well, from what I understand, the organization, from what I can understand, might be the same folks who are causing people to forget the food that they are eating. And that would be at that restaurant over there. And he just points to the far distance where presumably a restaurant is.
So halfway through his sentence, Jessamy lifts up the receipt like she has something valuable to contribute. And then as he finishes his sentence, she just quietly puts it into her pocket and keeps listening.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, and then he just points in the distance.
Well, it looks like we may need to make a reservation at that place.
As long as we don't forget.
This is not a joking matter.
Apparently not.
Please do not use humor.
Yes, it's
You're right, Don.
It's counterproductive.
My apologies.
That and he just walks off in the direction of the place.
I sniffed on.
All right, let's just follow behind him. Maybe if there's an ambush, they'll shoot him first.
I want to sniff him. I want to get a good smell of him.
Okay, give me a roll to smell Don.
Have you ever had to deal with that there, Kyle?
No. I've had lots of things. I've had rats getting eaten. I've had lots of nudity, but no one has sniffed anyone. This is new for me.
I rolled a 3.
Oh my God, you're very blatant.
I guess he's kind of hard to smell over the scent of the food.
Yes, I will say that you cannot smell anything, and he does notice, but he's just accepted it at this point, and he just keeps walking.
It's a smart move, Don. It's a smart move.
I feel bad for this guy.
I was gonna say, don't worry, his life gets better, but that's up in the air.
Oh no!
So you make your way, and you see people walking out with turkey legs, but they also walk out of this like hole in the wall with a lot of what you would call in the south you would call a hat dag, and what they call up in Navarine in the north what they call the hot hound.
I'm sorry. Hat dag?
Hat dag.
Okay.
This is the lore we're working with. At least we don't have a Neen cheese, which is horrifying in the context of our show.
But do y'all have spider goat silk in y'all's world yet?
Or Jimmy Buffett?
We can now if you want it.
All right.
So they're walking out. There's a lot of sub sandwiches coming out of this place that you see a name on the side, a very minor name. And they're all glittering, and the sign is glittering as well. Out of this very knotted, almost looking a lot, it's a sign that's wooden, but it looks like it hasn't been harmed. Everything is seamlessly put together, and it's flowers that form the name of this restaurant, the Submergine. And you make your way inside the restaurant, and it's very quiet. There are a lot of people are just sitting there quietly eating their food. Typically, they'll eat it, and then after a few bites, will stand up and walk to the side. As you walk in, you hear a yelp, and if you look around, you can see potted plants, a couple of potted plants all around the shelves on the sides. Some stairs in the back leading up. Again, adorned by so much plant life, and you've seen basically nothing in Charmande so far. It's basically been a desert. The only pot that doesn't have anything is there's an empty pot at the bar, but it looks like a pot for a potted plant. And behind that, you see the bartender, who is a red-haired woman in bulging baggy overalls, and her hair is tied into a bud on the back of her head. And as soon as you enter, she looks at Don and she says, "Wait, what are you doing back here?" Hello, welcome to the announcement break for What If, a special Quest Friends episode featuring the Amber Clave. My name is Kyle, I am your GM for today, and this is our little announcement break where I just talk me to you, you to me. Well, not you to me, I can't hear you, but I am going to talk to you, so really it's just the same as everything else. And what I want to talk to you about today is the Amber Clave. So the Amber Clave is a fellow Numenera podcast that takes place in the same world, the ninth world, that our show does. Although while our current season focuses more on the land, their first season takes place entirely in the ocean. It features the same protagonist as this bonus episode. It features similar shenanigans. The only difference is that the Amber Clave is in a little bit better shape than it is here, and it has a different GM behind the wheel. If you've enjoyed hearing these characters go through their shenanigans at all, I really encourage you to check out theamberclave.com, which you'll find a link to below. They're really good people. Their show is a lot of fun and showcases a very different way to interpret Numenera, which I think is just a really fun part about playing a role-playing system and kind of seeing the different ways people interpret them. And their show also has transcripts for the first 2 episodes for someone who wants to, quickly read it, or if you're hard of hearing or something like that. In addition, on today, right now, well, I can't guarantee right now, I don't know which of us is going to release it first, we could be a few minutes apart, but today, they have a similar What If scenario bonus episode on their end, where Hop, Misha, Shock, and Ellie are thrown into the deep dark, scary depths of the ocean as seen in the Amber Clave. So if you're enjoying this episode, check out the Amber Clave not only for more episodes starring these 3 goofballs in this episode, but also for a special bonus episode starring our regularly scheduled pack of 4 goofballs. But I can only speak so much about what their show is about, and they can really speak to it better. So without further ado, here's a brief advertisement showcasing the Amber Clave.
A billion years from now, civilization has risen and fallen 8 times, leaving the people of the Ninth World to make lives in the ruins of the technology whose secrets have long since been lost. Here, every turn may bring a strange new discovery, and what is familiar might be the greatest threat. The Amber Clave seeks to learn, build, discover, and protect all Ninth Worlders. Join us at theamberclave.com.
One last thing I gotta say, our intro and outro song are Friends and Hitoshio, both by Miracle of Sound. And while I normally say when you can find our next episode at the end of these, I should have the other episode either uploaded now or within 12 hours. So I'll see you again whenever you choose to start the next one.
Don.
What did you do?
I came here for an investigation. I left, I filed my report, and now I am back.
You've clearly broken this woman's heart. You scamp.
Okay, no, that's not what's going on here. And Don just looks even more dejected. He didn't want this, but now he's just sad he's been rejected so quickly. Anyways, Don, I would say it's great to see you again, but you really should go. I can get you some more food if you want. No, we are here with the Amber Clave. I was just supposed to bring them here, and he just motions for you to do your thing as he just sits down at the bar. Not at the bar, he sits down at a table.
I'm gonna do perception checks.
I guess I'll leave that to the perceptive one in the group. I'm good at lying. That's what I do.
And I do have part of my perceptive thing is I do have a skill that's called Eye for Details.
Okay, does that just make it easier to see things?
Yeah, like it's generally anything that's like hidden doors, stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, I noticed nothing. That is a 1.
Okay, everything looks on the level. You don't see anything suspicious here. Everything looks great. In fact, the only thing you notice is that as soon as Don sits down, he remembers his protocol and he stands back up again because he is not allowed to sit while on the job. And the woman looks at you and she's like, so we don't answer. I'm not here to answer questions, but if you want food, we've got some food, some really delicious stuff here. I'll even offer it since, you're working with my friend Don, I'll offer it on the house.
Okay, food on the house? I would assume since we're so scrappy, we have a hard time saying no to food that's free.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit worried still because of the encounter with the man on the street.
Is there anything I should worry about, allergies or adverse effects to, anything on your menu? I will ask, as I am trained in sensing deception.
Okay, and she will say, no, nothing with allergies. Well, and you see her kind of sit there for a second, and she looks like she wants to say something, but she's like, no, nothing.
Wait, you just there was a thing there.
No, there wasn't, there's no thing.
There was definitely a thing.
No, there wasn't a thing. So do you
Jessamine, did you notice a thing?
I think
so you want turkeys? You want hot hounds? And she takes, and she's just making some food, and she takes some seasoning, and she starts pouring it on. We've got the best kind of food around. Don't let anyone else know, of course.
I want to make a roll to try to help Cortian out. I have a skill called Imposing Deductions.
Okay.
Where it's like, whenever he said the tick or whatever, I guess, her hiccup in speech, like point that out to try to back him up to try to intimidate her to be like, yeah, there was a thing I didn't say.
Okay.
All right. And I've got Coke's information.
All right. That is a 14.
Okay. And then, Acer, give me a roll.
All right. So the way Coke's information works is I talk to someone for a minute and I can get them to reveal information to me. And the best part is if I succeed, they either are unaware, they tell me what I want to know, or they don't think it's a big deal. And I'm going to go ahead and use that training and effort as, I risk giving this person an aneurysm.
What? What?
Surely,
Are you gonna kill her?
There isn't anything causing her to not want to talk to us like this. Unfortunately, I rolled a 1.
Oh my gosh. We go with the really high highs and the really low lows.
Yeah.
So I am going to say that she knows when she gives you information. She will be aware of this, but she will give it because Landon had a good roll, and also she might be a good person. She seems like a good person. Maybe. Who knows? She's making the food, and she turns over and she's like, all right, well, none of you are allergic to anther, are you?
Can't say that I am.
I don't think so.
What is that?
Cool, then you'll be great. And she passes on over 3 pieces of food. You've got a turkey leg, you have a hot hound, and then you have an egg, a mysterious egg. It is just an egg, and it seems to chirp a little bit, but she's like, no, that's fine. That's how it works.
Oh.
So it's like fried over easy, but it is chirping.
Wow.
And there's some glittering. They're all very shiny and glittery.
So I think we need to donate this food for science.
Donate for science. I don't know what you're talking about. You all look very hungry.
You're right. I meant donate to my stomach because I'm the science person, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, we will be right back, I will say.
Okay.
Okay. And as we walk away, I whisper quietly, I really meant donate to someone else.
Yeah. And then we observe them, right?
Okay. Yes. For science.
For science.
So are you leaving?
I think we need to find a table in here.
Yeah.
Preferably with someone else who is also just getting their food.
Okay.
I kind of want to get another one of those egg things and sit at the table with Dawn and see if we can do an egg shot and see how it affects Dawn.
Good plan.
All right. And he is, look at you. He's like, this is not in my job description, but I have not eaten in 30 hours. So yes.
Dawn, you should eat.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can't drink on the job, but there's nothing about doing an egg shot.
No, for science.
Please do not refer to it as drinks, or I will have to wait another 12 hours.
It's not a drink. See, it's more of a semi-solid than anything.
Semi-solids. Wait. And he counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then he takes it and he gulps it down. Are you drinking it too?
I think given the nature of not knowing how it might affect me, I'll go ahead and drink it and then have the others not eat their food just to see how it affects me.
Okay, cool. How much of it do you drink?
I'm going to do the entire egg just like in one go.
Okay, cool. So you see Tom. So everyone, I want you to give me an intellect defense roll.
Nice. All right, that's an 18.
Cool. Don is going to drink it, and everyone's just going to see him kind of go, whoa, too fresh. Meanwhile, you're going to gulp it down. It tastes exquisite. It is perfect. It is blessed. And then the sparkles, you feel them kind of almost dig in on your tongue and the sides of your mouth a little bit. And your vision goes kind of foggy, and you're having a little bit of trouble remembering, like, it's very good. You kind of want to order it again, but you forget how much it costs. You forget the name of it. Honestly, you forget the name of the restaurant, so you don't even know how to get there. And then you're like, oh wait, I'm in the restaurant. I know how to get there. So you seem to have trouble remembering the circumstances around this food. You know you want it again, you know it's really good, but everything else you seem to kind of be forgetting.
Man, that whatever I just had was amazing. Where am I?
You had an egg, one of those eggs, and it was good?
It was great, but I don't really think I ate egg.
Do you still... the remnants of the egg are still there, right?
Yeah, the shell is still there.
Do you see this shell, Mako?
Yes.
You ate the egg that was in this shell.
Mako will pick it up and kind of look inside. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. I don't seem to taste egg in my mouth.
And as you say that, you just see from like off camera just a couple more eggs slide into frame on a tray, and you see the red-haired woman with the baggy pants, the bartender. She's holding the pot from the table on her arm, and she slid the other eggs there. And she says, I'm really glad to hear that you like it. Here, you can feel free to have some more. Everyone else, if you want to try it as well, that is kind of our specialty.
Excuse me, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, well, and she turns over to Dawn, and it almost looks like she wants to lie, but Dawn can remember things, so she just sighs, and she's like, yeah, my name's Glorina, I run the place.
All right, Glorina, would you mind, could you have one of these eggs, please?
we're not allowed to eat our own food.
Oh, not nonsense. If they're that amazing, surely you have to partake with your guest, and I will hand her an egg. And I'll hold another egg.
Oh.
She'll take an egg.
And the customer is always right.
Really, that's not really our policy. And you just hear her whisper, "I'm so sorry." You see her lean down to the plant and say, "I'm so sorry," before lifting up saying, "Really, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it." And she just drops the egg into the potted plant.
Okay.
What a waste of a good egg.
So wait, she just apologized to the plant.
No, I didn't.
You're right. I have had too many eggs. Oh, that was silly of me.
It's getting pretty late. Maybe I think we're gonna shut down. So it's been great seeing you all. Don, a pleasure as always. We're just going to go. And as that happens, she turns around and I'm going to introduce a GM intrusion for her, but it's also bad for you. Who am I going to give it to? Who did not get a GM intrusion earlier? Acer, you didn't get a point, right? Acer, you will get the point and you will be the one punished for this. Who do you want to give your other experience point to?
Let's give it to Mako for his enduring memory loss, taking one for the team.
Okay, so as she walks away, you hear a similar, like the yelp you heard earlier. You hear it out of the potted plant, and you see what looks like a plant octopus head kind of emerge from it, going, what's going on? My head's a little fuzzy. And Glorina just turns over and she's like, Morin. And she sets down the plant and she just sets her hands on the table and she's like, I'm really sorry about this. And with that, all of a sudden the pants burst open and you see 8 plant octopus legs emerge from where the plants were, and 4 of them lift up and they hurl balls of like what look like cauliflower at each of you. And I need you all to roll speed defense.
Oh boy.
You have found the ploctopus, or the plant octopus.
Dawn, we found her.
I rolled a 20 again. I don't know who I am anymore.
I got a 12.
I got a 12.
Okay. And Don, it does not matter. Don always fails.
He's like Eeyore. Oh.
All right, so Jessamy, you got a 20. What do you want, like, the kind of bonus effect to be as these cauliflower come spawning at each of you?
I don't even know. I want Mako to come back to his senses.
Yeah. So you dodge, and as you do, you whip your hand back, and you accidentally knock Mako in the face, which knocks his senses back a little bit.
That works.
And right after that happened, both he and Korshin are slammed in the head by these cauliflower, which bursts into flowery glitter all over them. And you recognize suddenly, and only you recognize what comprises this glitter as anther, a type of pollen that causes memory loss. And with that, both Mako and Korshin, your brains just black out and you're like, oh, that's getting kind of late out. I should probably go home.
I cover my face.
You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you cover your face and you're fine. And Don's just standing there. It just hit him in the head and he's just standing there. But the other two, yeah, it's getting late. You should probably go home. Don't even know why you're here. You should get to bed.
I look at Glorina.
Yeah.
What's she doing?
She's just sitting there. She's very, like, concerned that you dodged it. And you see that she is, a couple of the tentacle legs are reaching behind the bar and trying to grab some more stuff, it looks like.
Okay, so can I try to, like, fake her out and be like, oh, yeah, it's time for us to go. Like, I want to try to act like I have now lost my memory. Can I try to do that?
I'm going to say since you rolled a 20 and you recovering Mako's memories didn't really work because he lost them immediately afterwards, I will say that you can do this, but I need you to play this out in full. I need this for me.
Okay, well, lucky for you, I'm a glass and a half of wine in, so this should be easy. Wow, that was fantastic. I think it is time for us to go. Dawn, you have really shown us a magnificent time, but we need to go.
I was supposed to bring you here to stop the Saracenians. I'm not sure what you're talking about. And Glorina pops in. Don, no, really, I think it is best if you go.
Yes, Don, everything's fine. And I try to grab Don.
And he just sighs and he says, oh, paperwork will get through in like a month, so fine. And he starts walking out with you three.
As soon as we get outside, I punch both Korshin and Mako in the head again.
Okay. I'm gonna say it works. I don't want to mechanically punish them for this. I'm tempted to, but for the sake of time, I won't. Also, because
That's
this is
fair.
our first
That's fair.
session together, and I don't want to get too mean too yet. So as you leave, the door slams at the same time as you punch both of them in the face, so you can't tell which sound is causing what. And I'm gonna say, yeah, your memories are back. You got a good bonk on the head.
Ah,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But you guys both got hit with some pollen and it made you forget everything. So, but you're back now.
all right.
Don, how you doing?
Is that a genuine question, or is that just like making conversation question? Because honestly, I have a lot I could talk about.
I want to get into that, but I don't think we can.
He just sighs and he says, well, I would say it's the thought that counts, but honestly, I feel just as bad as I did before.
That's fair. I wouldn't trust me either. So I think we found the thing, the Sarah Octa things.
Were we supposed to do anything other than find it?
You were supposed to find, and I forget the word. It was code word for neutralize. That was it. You were supposed to find and neutralize the Saracenians, specifically the Ploctopus, which was a dangerous weapon.
All right. Well, I have this artifact weapon.
What is it called?
Actually, it doesn't have a name. We took it. It's taken from a cipher fanatic, and it is the equivalent of a rocket-propelled grenade launcher.
Okay.
And I think it's time to reacquaint ourselves with this lady who does not want to be remembered.
So are you going to just open the door?
It seems like a bad idea to open the door.
Okay.
So I will instead blow up the door. Hey, you said we could burn down this quarter of town.
Okay. I mean, you could. Poor Glorina. So, yeah, you take the rocket launcher, you describe how you blow up this door, because you're blowing up the door.
All right. So first of all, we have to leave. We have to go beyond minimum safe distance. So, I'm just going to casually start walking the group farther away, like across the street. And then I'm going to say, all the while, the rage is building. And I say, so Dawn, just as a hypothetical, how many forms would I have to fill out for the destruction of a commercial building?
Surprisingly few.
Really? Okay. So, I just have to show like good cause or something. And as I'm saying this, I'm like I've taken out my pack and I've started assembling this contraption. And basically, like it's somewhat more sophisticated than a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, which is essentially just a steel tube with a firing mechanism. And so I'm just having this conversation with him as I'm, shouldering this weapon.
Okay, he's going to say, well, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make a prayer to the Moonlight Dancer. Then you have to get a nibble of, you have to get the paperwork signed with a little bit of blood. You just got to poke the Scrat statue for that one. At that point, it's about 3 to 8 weeks as you wait for Queen Armalu's approval. And then, honestly, generally, Vera just blows it up herself.
All right, gotta expedite that, and I will fire.
This rocket shoots out, and it spirals, and it hits the door of the submergine, and the door explodes open, and you hear some hissing, like some hissing as like the doors and kind of the plants around it shrink back a little bit.
Oh, and FYI, anything that cannot dodge takes 8%. Anything that cannot dodge that is in immediate range of the impact point takes 8 points of damage.
That's enough to kill anything in that radius, because they're all plants. So a lot of the potted plants are just on fire. don't worry. They weren't alive in the way that Morin was alive, but they were still life, and you killed it. The fireball explodes. You see flecks of the door just fly past Don's unblinking face as like the lights just like shimmer back and forth, and he just stares there.
This is what I want.
He sighs, and you're now able to get in pretty easily. There's a little bit of smoke, so you can't see what happens till you get through the door, because that area of the game hasn't loaded yet.
The highlight of this like whole thing, the whole trailer could just be Dawn reaction shots.
Yes, this is. I want to imagine like Dawn in a halo of sparks and smoke and glittering plant pollen.
I love it.
Before we go back in there, we need to like cover our faces or something, because you two, and probably me.
I was just thinking bandanas.
Yeah, bandanas, something, gas mask, I don't know. But you two were goners before.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I don't know if this will help, and Mako will activate his ice armor ability.
Describe how that works.
And Korshin gets the benefit as well of this, but basically Mako will kind of just stand there and close his eyes real quickly, and then it's almost like not to the extreme of kind of X-Men's Iceman, but Mako's all of a sudden kind of covered in like a layer of frost, and it adds to his armor, extra if it's cold, and then at the same time, kind of slowly, I imagine from the foot going up, or feet going up, Korshin's kind of covered in the same kind of frost-like chill.
Okay.
Yeah, and it adds +1 to armor, and it makes it +2 to +2 if it's cold.
Okay. Yeah, that works perfectly. So you two are covered. All right. So are you going to cover your face?
Yeah, so I like dig through my bag for a spare undershirt and wrap it around my head. That's all I have. I don't have anything.
Okay, how bad is this undershirt? Is it like the shirt that you buy that you like never expect to wear? Like while going out, so it can be like covered with paint?
Probably. I mean, I would assume that it's the Amber Clave standard issued, so it maybe has seen a few other adventures.
I like to think it's more like it's like an Amber Clave like gym shirt, because like when you join the Amber Clave, you get access to like the Amber Clave's gym.
So we got 2 ice people, and then someone who's just covered with a bandana, and Don, who is also there.
Don, cover your face.
Honestly, I don't need to. This thing removes memories, but I haven't slept in a few days, so really life is just a walking fog for me anyways. I should be fine.
Don. Once again, Don, I wish we could talk about this.
Maybe someone will be able to talk with me about my issues one day.
Have you like thought about going to HR?
Maybe. Honestly, the horrendous Rat King tends to just eat whoever talks to him about their problems, so I have not approached them yet.
So that's fair.
So you make your way in, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yes.
So you make your way in. It looks like the aftermath of an explosion. You hear like some screeching. There's smoke billowing up, and if you walk up but Glorina and Morin are not there. And if you walk up the staircase, you can see up at the top, there's a couple of doorways. There's a cabinet to food at your left. There's some stuff to your right. And right in front of you, there's a steel door behind which you can hear some murmuring.
Can I make out the murmuring to see if it is Glorino?
Glorino? Yeah, give me a roll.
That's going to be a 10.
Yes, it is a lot of people, and you can hear Glorina trying to like shush them down a little bit, like shh, kind of comforting, and it's like murmuring, almost like, you know, like maybe kids who are super nervous as someone's trying to like calm them down.
I will look over to Korshin and Jessamine and just kind of word with my mouth. I think they're in here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and roll intimidation. It's really funny. My character has 2 axes of competence. One is lying to people or getting them to do what I want, and one of them is blowing things up.
You are tremendous heroes. All right, so what's the kind of intimidation are we trying to do, and how are we trying to do it?
You've seen how I open doors. Open that one, or I'm opening it for you.
Okay, give me a roll to intimidate.
With training and effort, that will be an 18.
Yeah, the door cracks open. It is not open completely, but it does crack open, allowing you to enter.
All right.
Do you enter?
Yes.
All right, you push open the door and you see your eyes and your minds are almost kind of overwhelmed for a second as you see this harsh blue light emanating from like in like rivers in this cavern wall that stretches out hundreds of feet in front of you. And on it you see rows and rows of potted plants, each of which has a different kind of creature in it. One looks like a potted scrat, one looks like a potted anine. They all are different potted creatures, and as you open the door, they're all looking like frightened and terrified at you, and they're all kind of shirking back in they're shirking back into their potted plants. And in the center of all of them, illuminated by this light, is Glorina, who's just kind of sitting over her own legs, and she has her hands kind of like in just close together. She says, "So, I don't suppose we can talk."